Our second to last Java syntax topic of the entire semester is going to be access control. But before we do that, I'm going to show you here, you're the secret audience of this particular video being recorded. I'm streaming this, and if you want to watch all the outtakes while I'm describing the exact process I'm doing right now, it's very meta, maybe you can go check out this VOD, which presumably will be recorded. Anyway, alrighty, back to it. So access control. The big idea here is that we want to have a finer grained control between private and public. So the inspiration we're going to have moving forwards just at the beginning here is thinking about how the private keyword interacts with the notion of a package and the notion of a subclass. As an example, could a subclass access, say, a private member of its superclass? So for example, if we had an array map and then we extend it into a special array map, could that special array map access the private key iterator class that we built in the last lecture? Okay. Now, if you don't remember those exactly, that's fine. But the question is simply, can a class which extends another, can it use the private members of that original class? You might also ask yourself, could two classes in the same package, can they use each other's members, right? So for example, if we think about guitar string and array ring buffer from homework 1, so I'll just open that up real quick. They're part of the same package that you're going to name. And then these two pieces of code here, the question is, could a guitar string, for example, access the first element or the last member of the array ring buffer? And it turns out that in both cases, the answer is no. So if you say private, you really mean it. You must be part of the same exact class in order to use that member. And so what we want to do is discuss the other keywords in Java that have a different layout than either yes, 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 or yes, no, 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 no. So as an example that's maybe a little less contrived, or that we can see right here on a slide, I don't know, maybe it's a more contrived example. Let's consider the Maionic array map. So the Maionic array map it extends the array map class, it's part of the same exact package, and it has, in this case, a constructor which immediately sets the size equal to s. So if we actually try to compile this from the command line, we would get error, size has private access in array map. Now what's kind of interesting is that if we go look at the array map, and we think about this private size, any subclass actually inherits all of these fields, even though that class cannot access them. So here's an example. This is the Maionic array map. It extends the array map class, and what I'm going to do in the constructor is try and set size equal to s. So in this case, the constructor actually fails to compile because size has private access. Now, even though this class cannot access its own instance variable, it nonetheless has that instance variable, which we'll be able to see if we run this visualizer. So let's now run, oh, well, that's from an earlier cut. So let's try running this again. And in this case, we'll run Maionic array map. And after we step over this line and look at this in the visualizer, we see that it actually does have a keys, a values, and a size, even though this class cannot access them. And that's an important point because otherwise it wouldn't actually work, right? If it didn't have those variables, it would be useless. So if we want to actually be able to do that, we can use a new keyword that we have not seen before in this class at least, called protected. And the way that works is we simply go into our class, in this case array map, and I say this is no longer private, it is protected. And that is not as private, right? I mean, private means only for you. Protected means, hey, I'm willing to let some of the world use this, but not just anybody. And in particular, the Java access control box or table looks like this. If you are part of the same class, or you're part of the same package, or you're part of the same subclass, you may access this item. And so in this case, the Maionic array map, it is able to use this size field. And if we were to rerun this, in fact, I don't know, let's do it. So now if we take this away, we'll see it compiles just fine. And if we rerun this thing, okay. I started another one. Oh boy, okay. Okay, all right. Sorry, a little sloppy there because we now have multiple copies of my debugger running, but okay. In this case, if we look at the debugger, we can see that the size is 5. So we set the size to 5, glorious, it actually worked, everybody's happy. So that's what protected does for you. It allows other things in the same package or in the same, or subclasses to use that field. Now there's actually a fourth level of access, which is known as package private. In this case, the way you get the package private level, access control level, is to put no keyword at all. So in other words, I would go into here. Let's see. Let's stop. Oh, they're all running. Boy. Okay. Close them. Get out of here. Nope, don't pen. I have everything just slightly too large, so I can't get the X by default. So if we go into array map and we change this from protected to private, or not to private, we change it to nothing at all. This right here is now package private. This is that fourth level of access. Why did they decide to make putting nothing at all a special thing? I don't know. It's just what they decided to do with Java. We'll live with it. So what that means is that only other classes that are part of the same package or that class itself may access this member of the class, and subclasses may not. Okay? You have to be part of the package. So it's either class or package. So let's consider some little examples here. Maybe you'll think along. So again, we have now changed array map so that this is package private. We have the Maionic array map just exactly like it was before. And now we have a third class called map helper that simply tries to print out the size of an array map using this field name. So first question, do you think this will still work? Maybe, I don't know, you could pause the video and ponder it. Okay. So the way to think about it is to say, this is package private. So is it part of the same class? No. Is it part of the same package? Yes. Okay, done. All right, now we come to this one. So in this case, we say, all right, is it part of the same class? Will this work here? Is it part of the same class? No. Is it part of the same package? Yes. We're done. That's it. So we didn't even think about whether or not it's part of the same subclass. Being part of the same package was good enough. Now, here's a random question totally out of nowhere. While I was putting this video together, I discovered something very interesting, which is that IntelliJ actually generates really nice looking syntax highlighted code. The only problem is that I generally make my slides a dark color on light as opposed to a light color on dark. So if you are watching the video, please fill out this poll. It should hopefully be active whenever you check it out. And I'll keep that in mind for webcast viewers in the future. And if you come to the real life lecture, I'll ask the question again. I guess you can vote twice on both of the polls.